blind faith is a barrier. That's a pretty bold statement to open with.
It is bold.
Usually when we dive into a topic that even smells like spirituality,
Yeah.
the first rule is, check your skepticism at the door and just believe.
And honestly, it's refreshing. Most spiritual texts start with a demand. Believe this. Maybe you'll understand it later. But the material we're looking at today just flips that script.
How so?
It suggests that belief isn't the starting line at all. Experimentation is.
Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. We're doing something a little different today. We've got this stack of notes here on the philosophy of the Brahma Kumaris. Now, before you tune out thinking we're about to launch into some theological sermon, let me just stop you right there.
Yeah, that's not what this is.
The fascinating thing about this group is that they don't even really call themselves a religion. They call their knowledge a study or a spiritual university.
And that distinction is absolutely crucial for what we're trying to do today. Our mission isn't to debate theology or prove anything. It's to look at this source material, specifically this analysis called spiritual concepts as life tools, and just decode it.
Decode it.
Yeah, we want to understand how these specific stories and, images function as coded psychological tools.
I really love that framing, coded psychological tools. It's like, instead of asking, is this historically true, we're asking,
What does this do?
what does this do for my brain?
Right.
How does this help me navigate, say, a toxic workplace or just rush hour traffic?
Precisely. We're looking at utility. The source material argues that these concepts, God, deities, the cycle of time, are designed to solve really specific modern problems.
Like what?
Lack of focus, low self-esteem, emotional fragility, that overwhelming burnout everyone seems to be dealing with.
Okay, so we have a roadmap. We're going to look at three main pillars. First, the power source, which is their unique take on God.
Right.
Second, the ideal self, which is about deities. And third, the world drama, which is a, frankly, mind-bending take on time.
And we'll wrap up with how to actually experiment with all this. So remember, keep that life tool lens on.
Not worship.
Mental mechanics. So let's start with the big one, the power source.
Okay, let's unpack this. In the BK philosophy, they view God specifically as a point of light named Shiv Baba.
A point.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, the idea of God is usually this massive, formless, omnipresent energy. But here, they're very specific. A point. Why?
This is where the psychology comes right in. The source material explicitly contrasts this point of light with the idea of an omnipresent God.
One who's everywhere.
Right. In the
Yeah.
table, in the trees, in the air. And the argument is about mental mechanics. If God is everywhere, your mind has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to rest.
That makes sense. It's like trying to focus on everything all at once. You can't.
Exactly. The mind wanders because there's no destination. It's too abstract. By defining God as a specific point, you give the mind a target.
So it's a focus tool, a hack for attention.
It is. Think about meditation. The biggest hurdle for most people is that their mind is just jumping all over the place.
All the time.
By visualizing a minute point of light, you're harnessing the mind's ability to focus. It quiets the noise. It's an anchor.
The source uses a great analogy for this. It talks about mental recharging, and it compares the human soul to a battery.
And what does a battery need to recharge?
It needs a plug, a specific plug.
All right.
You can't just wave your phone in the air and hope it catches some electricity because electricity is everywhere.
No, you have to link it.
You have to link it to a stable source.
That is the perfect distillation of the concept. The source argues that the soul, dealing with the wear and tear of daily life, gets depleted. We call it stress, burnout, whatever.
Right.
To clear that out and recharge, you need a connection to a, let's say, higher frequency.
And that's the point of light.
Right. So it's not about praying to an unknown mystery and hoping for the best. It's a mechanical process in their view. You link your battery, the soul, to a stable power source, the point.
To download peace and silence. I like that. It strips away the mystery and makes it actionable. It's like, okay, my battery's at 10%. I'm snapping up my coworkers. I need to go plug in for 5 minutes.
Yes. It changes the activity from worship to maintenance.
And if you see it as maintenance, you're more likely to do it, aren't you?
Of course. You don't feel guilty about charging your phone. You just do it. The text claims this leads to mental sovereignty. It's the difference between running on fumes and running on a full charge.
Okay, so we've got our power source. We're plugged in. Now let's talk about who we are in this. This brings us to the deities.
Right. So in many Eastern traditions, you have figures like Lakshmi, Narayan, Rama. Usually they're viewed as mythological figures to be worshipped.
You put them on a pedestal, ask for blessings.
But the source material says, well, that's not the most useful way to see them.
The twist here is viewing them as blueprints of human potential.
Blueprints.
That implies there's something we're supposed to build or become.
Exactly. The source suggests that instead of myths, these images represent the original soul.
The original soul.
It's the idea that deep down, before all the stress, before what they call the Iron Age, this is who you were and who you can be again. Perfectly balanced, peaceful, self-sovereign.
This hits on a huge problem most of us have, defining ourselves by our mistakes. I look in the mirror and I see stressed podcaster who forgot to buy milk.
Right. Or someone sees anxious middle manager. We solidify our temporary state into an identity. I am an angry person. I am a depressed person.
So the psychological utility of the deity concept is to break that. It's a self-esteem tool.
It is. So when you look at an image of, say, Narayan, you're not looking at a god.
I'm looking at me.
You're looking at your final product or your original self. It's a visual reminder of your capacity for virtue. If you can visualize that state of being dignified, peaceful, you can start to embody it.
It's the fake it till you make it principle, but on a spiritual level.
In a way, yes, it shifts your internal narrative. Instead of waking up and thinking, I am a stressed worker, the narrative becomes, I am a peaceful soul with deity-like qualities who is currently navigating a stressful situation.
That is a subtle but massive difference. I have a peaceful soul currently navigating stress.
It creates separation between you and the problem, and that separation is where your power is. It changes how you treat people.
How so?
If you see yourself as royal or deity-like, and I don't mean arrogant, I mean self-respecting, you aren't going to get into a petty argument on social media.
Right. A deity doesn't doom scroll and get into Twitter fights.
Yeah.
A deity has dignity.
So it's about raising the standard of your own behavior by adopting a higher persona. You stop acting from your wounds and start acting from your potential.
Okay, so we have the power source for focus, the deity concept for self-esteem. Now we get to the part that I think is the most challenging, the world drama.
This is where we get into their concept of time. The BK philosophy describes time as a cycle, a 5,000-year cycle. And the kicker is, every scene is fixed and repeats. Identically.
When I first read that, I have to be honest, my knee-jerk reaction was, well, that sounds terrible.
Fatalistic.
Yeah, fatalistic. If everything is fixed, why bother? Where's my free will?
That's the common reaction. But remember, we're looking for the utility. What problem does this belief solve? The answer the source gives is emotional resilience.
Okay, walk me through that. How does knowing I'm in a rerun help me be resilient?
Well, think about the questions we ask when tragedy strikes. A job loss, a breakup, a crisis. What's the first thing people cry out?
Why me? Or why is this happening? This isn't fair.
Exactly. We resist the reality of the moment. We spend a huge amount of energy fighting the fact that this is happening. The drama concept just cuts through that resistance.
Because it's just the script.
It's just the script.
Yeah.
The question, why me, becomes irrelevant. It removes the shock value. The source uses the analogy of a movie. If you're an actor in a play and you know in Act 2 your character gets their heart broken, you don't stand on stage and scream, why is this happening?
You know why? It's in the script. You've done it before.
You've done it 84 times already, according to them.
84 times.
That's the specific number of births they mention in the cycle. So if you've acted this scene 84 times, you can detach from it.
I see. So it's about moving from being a victim of the circumstance to an observer of it.
Yes, the observer state. This is a huge concept in psychology. This version is just very specific. It helps you stop fighting the scene, which you can't control, and start focusing on your act.
Your response.
Which is the only thing you can control.
That is actually incredibly freeing. If I'm stuck in traffic, I'm not stewing in, I shouldn't be here. I can just say, ah, yes, the traffic scene. I know this one.
And suddenly you're calm. You aren't wasting energy. That's the utility. It's about preserving your energy for what you can actually control, your own inner state.
So if you have this very specific 5,000-year cycle, where do other religions and figures like Jesus or Buddha fit in?
This is fascinating because they don't reject them. They integrate them. The source talks about the tree of humanity.
The trunk and the branches.
So the BKs view their study as the trunk, the foundation. But as time goes on, as the cycle moves from the Golden Age into the Iron Age, the trunk decays.
Humanity loses its way. We get stressed, we lose that deity consciousness.
Exactly. And that is when these great souls appear. The source says figures like Jesus and Buddha come at specific times to provide necessary branches.
Like structural support for a decaying building.
That's a good way to put it. They appear to restore hope. Jesus taught love. Buddha taught peace. These were specific medicines for specific ailments of the time.
And the utility here, the notes say, is universal respect.
Yes, and conflict resolution. Often religion is a source of conflict. My way is the only way. The BK framework says, no, your way was necessary. It was a vital branch that supported millions.
So it validates the intent behind the religion without accepting the dogma as the only truth.
Correct. It allows a student to look at a Christian or a Buddhist and not see a non-believer, but see a soul being supported by a different necessary branch of the same tree. It removes the "my religion is better" trap.
That's a really healthy way to navigate a multicultural world.
Absolutely. You just acknowledge their role in the drama.
So let's bring this back down to the ground. This is a study. How does a person actually use this stuff on a Tuesday afternoon?
The source material is very clear on this. It brings up the concept of sanskars.
Sanskars, that's a Sanskrit word.
Yes, and in this context, it just means habit patterns, deeply ingrained personality traits.
Okay, so my habit of getting defensive when someone critiques my work, that's a sanskar.
Exactly. And the view is that these are accumulated over those 84 births. But here's the toolkit the source provides to deal with them. It's a rapid-fire list of mental spaces.
Let's run through them. First one, the soul world.
Think of this as a mental safe space. When the world is too chaotic, you visualize returning to a world of silence, the home of the soul, total stillness. You go there to detach.
Okay, next, the 84 birth concept as a tool.
This is for separating yourself from your vices. Instead of saying, I am an angry person, you say, I am a pure soul. This anger is just an old habit.
Like old clothes I'm wearing for the last few lives.
Exactly.
Old clothes. I like that. It makes the vice feel external, like I can take it off.
It creates distance. It makes change seem possible. If anger is you, you can't change it. If anger is just a coat you're wearing, you can take it off.
And the third one, the confluence age.
Their term for the present moment. The utility here is urgency, empowerment. It's the realization that now is the only time to change the future. It stops procrastination.
It's not, I'll be better next year. It's, the drama is changing scenes right now, and I need to get my costume right.
Precisely.
You know, what strikes me most about all of this is the approach. The source ends with a challenge. It says, don't believe us, experiment.
That's the scientific approach they claim. It's not about blind faith. It's hypothesis and testing. The hypothesis is, if I view myself as a soul, I will feel more peaceful.
And the experiment is, try it for a week. See if your life improves.
Right. See if your stress goes down, if your relationships get better. If it works, the tool works. If not, you haven't lost anything.
It empowers you to be the judge. You are checking your own internal data. Did I yell at the kids today? No. Okay, the experiment is working.
It puts the responsibility squarely on the individual. You are the student, you are the researcher, and you are the subject.
So let's recap. We started with the point of light, a tool for focus. We moved to the deities, not as gods, but as blueprints for our own potential.
We looked at the world drama, a tool for emotional resilience by accepting the script.
And we saw how great souls fit in as necessary supports. And finally, the daily practice of managing sanskars, treating vices like old clothes.
It's a pretty comprehensive system when you look at it that way.
Like a mental operating system update.
That's a great way to put it. An OS designed for high-stress environments.
Before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with something to try, based on that experiment idea.
I have a thought on that. I want you, the listener, to think about the next stressful situation you have coming up. A presentation, a difficult conversation, maybe just traffic. I want you to try to view it as a scene in a drama that you have already acted in 84 times. You know the lines, you know the outcome, it's just a recording playing out.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, if I've done this 84 times, why am I nervous? How would I perform this scene if I knew with absolute certainty that it's just a scene? How would that change your performance right now?
That is a powerful thought.
Yeah.
Stop fighting the script and just deliver a great performance.
Exactly. Be the actor, not the victim.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the psychological tools of the Brahma Kumaris. It's a unique perspective, and whether you buy into the theology or not, the utility of the tools is definitely worth exploring.